Steelers lost on Monday. ESPN's Football Power Index now has the Chiefs as the favorites to get to the top seed in the AFC, giving them a 54% chance to do so. The Steelers currently remain the top seed in the conference based on their win percentage in the AFC, as they're 8-0 in the conference play, while Kansas City's only loss, of course, this season was to the Raiders. How concerning, Dan, was last night's performance for the Steelers for you?
It's not concerning for me. What I'm shocked at is, offensively, it's not. What I hear everyone talking to, man, the Steelers can't run the ball. Have you watched them all year?
Yes.
The Steelers don't throw the ball downfield. Have you watched them all year? They got to 11-0 with this. Here's the thing. They are a 3 yards in a cloud of dust offense. It's just they do it through the air rather than the ground. And when you do it on the ground, there's no chance, or there's a very little chance of, negative plays. But when you do it through the air like they do, and the drops happen, you get consistently out of rhythm. They're so predicated on 3 or 4 yard completion, and it's been really efficient for them this year. But when those drops show up, they get behind the sticks. They don't have the ability to be explosive on offense. They don't have the chunk passing game on offense. They haven't all year. And so they just have to minimize those drops. They're a basketball team that will only shoot 2-pointers. If you're hitting 70% of them, you're great, because you won't shoot threes. But you have to knock them down consistently. The drops are killing them.
Hence Ben Simmons reference earlier.
Wow, this is why I love you, Dan, because
you just agreed with her. You didn't even know it.
in my notes I wrote. I write one note to myself before every segment, and what I wrote.
Try not to minimize Dan.
I wrote, compare the Steelers' offense to Orlovsky's hoops game.
Oh my
because it's nothing at the rim, no 3-pointers, all mid-range jumpers.
Try hard, 6 fouls to give.
And listen, you're absolutely right that this has been the case all year. You're not wrong about that, Dan, and your diagnosis of the offense is absolutely right as well. But the problem is,
if you wouldn't have told him all year, he wouldn't know.
That's true. That's also a really great point. Thank you. But the problem is, if you can't run the ball and you're not explosive, your margin of error is this small. And that's the problem with Pittsburgh. Ben Roethlisberger, he played a good game last night, and they're not always going to have that many drops.
Right.
But they have to be perfect in that mid-range to compete with the Chiefs and the Bills of the NFL. And maybe sometimes they'll be perfect, but chances are over the stretch of several games, Marcus, I don't know.
I love your reference about the 2-pointers, because if I'm hitting threes, I'm going to beat you.
Hey, and you can hit some threes now.
So here's the
Has he ever hit a 3 in his life?
No.
He has.
A bunch of them.
Watch out.
Anyway, listen, I'm concerned because y'all know I'm old school, right? I'm that guy with this crew that thinks you have to have a run game in order to win in this league. I don't care. It will never change. Listen, for everybody that watches NFL Live and all the newcomers that's going to watch this show, the Swagoo will damn sure tell you that you need a run game in order to win in this league. And it's not that you have to hand the ball off 50 times a game, but people have to respect the fact that you can hand the ball off and open up windows. You talk about play action all the time, right? Yeah. And play action, you've taught me, from an offensive standpoint, that play action is not always handing the football off.
Correct.
And Mina has re-emphasized that to me as well. But y'all, I'm telling you, if you look at the history of this league, if you look at playoff runs, teams have went to the run in order to win games. They have.
We're in a new era. That's my thing.
It ain't no new era. The MVP of the Super Bowl last year was the running back.
And it shouldn't have been.
For the Kansas City Chiefs. What you mean it shouldn't have been?
They didn't win because the run game changed.
Listen, Damian Williams. Is that the right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Damian Williams was elite in that game.
Listen, I am agreeing with you. I do not think that the Steelers are capable of winning the Super Bowl, but that did not change from yesterday to today. I haven't felt that way all year.
I just want to say one thing. Say it. We just watched the Bills. They didn't run
it all like this. First down,
and they dominated in the air. This is where me and Orlovsky meet.
Listen,
everyone's going to fall out of their chair, but we're going to get back to our breaking news out of Philadelphia, and that's where we go now. Jalen Hurts making his first NFL start Sunday against the New Orleans Saints. Carson Wentz, of course, will be the backup, and Doug Peterson has made this decision as he said he would. He actually said he'd make it on a Wednesday, ends up making it a day earlier. So let's bring in Sal Paolantonio here to talk more about this. And I know, Sal, you've been in touch with Doug Peterson. What did he tell you about why he made this decision?
Yeah, I texted Doug Peterson this afternoon after Mort and Adam broke the story. The switch was being made to Jalen Hurts. And he said, the same reason I made the switch in the game. We need a spark. It's not about one guy here. We all know we need to be better. coach and player, doing this for the same reason. We need a spark. Offense has been poor for many reasons. Opportunity for Jalen's development. Still have great belief in Carson as a quarterback and a leader of the team. We have to get better, and the offense as well. And I think if you look at the tape of what's happening to the Philadelphia Eagles, they have just not really helped Carson Wentz very much. They're obviously not giving him good protection. He has been stuck in the pocket. Jalen Hurts energized the team in Green Bay by moving out of the pocket, throwing on the run, running with the football. They needed some kind of spark, and that was the bottom line of why Doug Peterson made the switch.
Thanks for that information and for the insight into Doug Peterson's decision. You're in Baltimore. We'll be back with you momentarily ahead of that Ravens-Cowboys game. Let's get back to Adam Schefter with the latest on the Eagles' opponents Sunday. What do we know about the timeline for Drew Brees' return, and which quarterback will get the start?
Well, Laura, Drew Brees is eligible to return off injured reserve this week after missing the last 3 games with 11 fractured ribs and that punctured lung. It's a situation where the Saints now have the luxury of not having to rush him back because Taysom Hill has won all 3 of his starts in relief of Drew Brees, just as Teddy Bridgewater won his 5 starts last year in relief of Drew Brees, giving the Saints an 8-0 record without Drew Brees the last 2 years. Knowing that they could win and knowing that they'll be playing a rookie quarterback, there's no reason to rush Drew Brees. If they believe he's ready, they can turn to him. If not, then they don't have to. They can ride Taysom Hill yet again. But make no mistake about it, Drew Brees is making progress. He's getting closer to a return. He was on the practice field last week throwing a football. He is feeling better. And now the question is when the Saints feel that it's going to be the right time to turn back to Brees. But as it is right now, it looks like it could shape up to be a battle between Taysom Hill and Jalen Hurts, and who would have thought that would have been the case early in the season?
Yeah, who saw that one coming? It's 2020. It's definitely a crazy year. Adam, the other thing, too, the Saints defense has been really good. They've actually allowed 28 points only in their 3 games since losing Drew Brees to injury. We got more NFL Live coming your way. Adam, of course, sticking with us. And after upsetting the Seahawks in Seattle Sunday, the Giants have won 4 in a row, sit atop the NFC East. Can they actually win a playoff game? We discuss that next on NFL Live. Anybody think
I hear you, Nip.
Somebody's
grinding
going
all my
to.
life. Neighborhood Nip, baby.
What?
Y'all, don't worry.
One time circle in the block, 2 times, you know how we rock. You know who we knocked on, you know who we shot. You know how we come for nothing.